there, guys! Welcome back to another episode of Hobby Talk with Tom the Beast and Marky Mark.
What's going on, guys?
Continuing on, we had our first episode, and we're gonna kind of give you guys some more background and more information just about, general hobbies.
I didn't cancel the show. I was gonna say we're still here, so Matt didn't cancel.
Yeah, Matt didn't cancel the show.
We did something okay.
Yeah. So we're still here. We're still here.
So one of the ideas that we were all talking about was army showcases, player army showcases. I think it'd be a cool thing, and I wanted Tom to start out because Tom's really good with lore, a lot better than me. A lot better than me. Like I said,
I'm better than him.
Yeah, you guys are gonna learn.
I'm still not saying much.
You guys are gonna learn one thing about me. It's that I have a horrible memory. A horrible memory. So it's like every week that we talk and Tom tells me the lore over and over again. It's like he's like, I told you this last week, and I'm like, dude, that's so cool. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it's like getting to tell a story all over again.
Moving on. This is what do you got here, man?
Yeah. So this is my army.
What is this?
What is these animals?
Yeah.
This is my army. I chose the Tau Empire, and for those of you who are familiar with 40K and familiar with Tau, I'm just going to run over it really quick. Basically, the Tau are a race that is fairly young in connection to everybody else. Most of the other races have been a part of that, for like millions and millions of years. Tau Empire are only like 10,000 years old.
They're pretty young.
They're very young.
Comparatively to like all the other races.
Correct, yeah.
They're also one of the smaller races in the galaxy, right?
Numbers wise, they are not big.
They have like their own little pocket, and like as they expand, they call them rings or something.
Spheres of expansion.
That's right.
When they were first discovered, they were very much like tribes people. Like they had fire technology and stone, but that was about it.
When the Imperium first found them.
That was correct. Yeah. Basically, the Imperium was going to kill them, but a warp storm arose so that they couldn't get back to that system. And then
and they're just like they're just
whatever
people. We'll just
Then they come back 10,000 years and they're like, holy crap, they have spaceships now.
Gnarly spaceships. Not just spaceships, but gnarly spaceships
with rail guns and plasma.
Part of the lore is that they actually they pushed out part of the Imperium. Like the Imperium came to take over finally, and they didn't let them. Yes. They actually held them off, right?
Yeah. Well, so basically the Tau Empire operate in like spheres of expansion, and they operate of a caste system. Basically, each caste is named after an element. So you have the fire caste, which are the warriors, they're the fighters, they're the soldiers. You have the earth caste, which are the builders, the engineers, the designers, even the artists are considered earth caste. You have the water caste, which are the diplomats. They're the political people. They are really good at speaking multiple languages.
So you don't get to use those, right?
No, you wouldn't want to. I hate the water caste. And then you have the air caste, which are the pilots. They spend most of their time in space. And then you have the ethereals.
Right, they don't actually have like a caste.
The ethereals are a caste, and yes, they actually during the time, which was what they called before the Great Tau Va, they were all at war with each other. Like this is during the time of stone and and they were all warring with each other, right? Because the air caste were actually Tau that lived on mountains. So they actually used to have wings.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you go into the lore of them, it's actually really interesting.
Now everybody reads lore from different places, and there's a lot of stuff that gets redacted. There's a lot of stuff that changes. Because one thing that we talk about a lot between amongst friends, we're not arguing about lore, but it's like, oh yeah, did you hear about this? It's like, nah, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not how it happened.
And a lot of this lore either gets read from a long time ago. It's from a codex that was first edition, and now it's no longer lore.
Yeah, it's lost. People forget about it.
So if there's anything that we're getting wrong, and this goes in just generally, if there's anything we get wrong, it's usually because we read it from somewhere else, or it's something that maybe we misconstrued.
I was just gonna say that. There's also misinterpretation that happens. But at the end of the day, it's really kind of like what you found about it and what you like about it most,
totally.
Because it's kind of that whole thing. All of this stuff takes place over tens of thousands of years. So maybe it did happen. Maybe it didn't. There's no real way to tell. But yeah, anyway, the ethereal caste are the reigning supreme. They're basically the ones in charge.
Don't they have they got jizz hands?
No, they don't have
That's not
jizz
them?
hands.
That's not them?
There's probably some jokes about that, but the ethereals, like, nobody really knows.
They stinky?
Yeah, like, nobody really knows why they all follow the ethereals so much. Like, the ethereals are basically like, oh yeah, like, we're here, we're in charge now, you guys stop fighting. And everybody's like, you know what? We're gonna stop fighting. That sounds good. And like, there's no reason why.
Like, they come at them with their armpits or
Yeah,
something?
like people have talked about like pheromones. I think even Matt was talking once about like, oh, they've got a crystal in their head. And I was like, I've never heard that in my life. Like, but there's all there's like this mysterious thing to it. But like the whole thing is like mind control. The ethereals control the Tau Empire by like, if they went up to a fire warrior and they're like, go stab yourself in the throat. Like, they would do it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like they have that type of ability.
But I mean, that's also one of the great things about 40K is the lore is so like expansive. There's so much of it. You can't know it all. Like somebody is gonna come over and be like, dude, did you hear about this? And you'll be like, I've played 40K my entire life.
Dude, that's what happened. Like,
I've never heard.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, I've been playing Tau Empire for over 5 years, and I've read a lot of books on them. I don't know everything.
They have hooves?
Yes, I do know they have hooves. That's why
they got hooves.
In old they used to be really bad because of that. They would fall. They would fall all the time. So the Tau Empire is that they're really technologically advanced. They've built amazing spaceships. They've built really cool battle suits. They have really good guns. They pride themselves on tactics. And I think the overall theme that Games Workshop, as far as I can see, they take a lot of inspiration from like samurai. Even when they're like shitty accents in video games, like they're very much like that, and they're based on honor and noble sacrifice.
They're really cool. I know there's a lot of like they get a lot of heat for not being as grimdark as the rest of the universe.
Yeah, and so that was the whole thing. Is like they were like the light. That was a big joke for a long time. Was you look at Warhammer 40K and how dark it is. And you look at the Tau, and you're like, these guys are good. Like they want good things,
Right.
They're like, no, we work together for the greater good. But if you look deeper into them, like, they kill people who don't.
Who don't follow?
Yeah, like if you don't go with them, they're like, cool.
Hence where the
bust a cap in you.
Hence where the communism.
Yeah, a lot of jokes on
in.
communism,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Follow
It's
us or
all
else.
they do have a dark side. They really do. The ethereal's mind control.
Right,
like I
right.
said, like they've lobotomized whole regiments of fire warriors. Like there's all this talk that goes into that.
Yeah.
They are not as grimdark as like Tyranids.
Right, yeah.
But
that's scary.
yeah, but they're also, I think they also have, it makes them complex.
Someone say Tyranids?
Yeah, right?
Tyranids?
But I think it makes them complex, and that's what I liked about them, is that you can take them wherever you want. If you wanted to take Tau and make them really bad, you can.
Yeah,
I
totally.
mean,
and that's another good thing about 40K. Something
They're going there.
nice segue into themes.
Oh, yeah.
So now that we talked about this is obviously if you're getting into Tau, or if you want to know a little bit more about Tom and his Tau, this is where you're gonna find that out. So if you're new to Tau and you're like, well, why should I choose Tau, or like why Tau? Maybe this will help you out a little bit.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. I mean, like, I'm no expert, and I just like the army, so I like talking about them, and
They
if
awesome.
other people get into them, I like that too, because then that means we can team up.
I had a Tau army.
Yeah, you did.
I did have a Tau army, but I also had 5 friends that played Tau, and I never got to play my Tau.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I had to.
I
sell them.
got to lead a lot of very large armies.
Yeah.
For a while, it was pretty great.
The Apocalypse game that we
Yeah,
played,
we
we had
did
like 4
Apocalypse games.
storm surges. We had the Tiger Sharks. It was pretty cool.
I'd been playing it the most out of most of the Tau players, so they kind of made me like the
Yeah,
admiral.
head honcho Tau.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. It was a good time.
definitely. So your first theme. Was this it?
No. So actually, my first theme, because the cool thing, like most armies have this,
Right.
You can do your own custom.
Right.
Like I know Space Marines, you can make your own custom Space Marine chapter. Well, Tau kind of had that too, that you could be your own what they called sept.
Right.
And that was basically your own, like, they come from this place, they're very good at this thing, they're
Just like a Space Marine chapter.
Yeah.
So like every faction, every army has a different type of sept, a different type of chapter.
Yeah.
They call it different things for the different
every
armies.
army has a different name for
Yep.
it,
But this is the generic
for
name.
Tau, it was septs, yeah. And
Right.
they have rules now for a bunch of different septs, or you could still make your own custom one. When I got into it, it was more about the paint than anything. They didn't have rules for that. So my theme that I was going for originally was they were beast hunters. My like little story was that they were the guys that they would send to planets that had really, really bad like monsters, like planets that had like giant spiders and dinosaurs and things like that, because like 40K has dinosaurs. Like I don't care who you are, 40K has dinosaurs. But so I figured, I was like, well, I'm gonna make guys that like that's their specialty.
Right.
It's like they were summoned and they were sent. They're hunter cadres, which are the big formations. This is a cadre. They were sent to planets to kill the indigenous life.
Cadre being it's like a company?
Cadre is very similar to like a battalion. They're large units of combat.
Yeah, because you have like regiments, companies, platoons.
Yeah, Tau only have like 2. So they have hunter cadres, and then they have fire teams.
Gotcha.
So a normal fire team unit is like 3 guys.
Oh.
Whereas the cadre is pretty much what you'd see here, and then you have multiple cadres in a fleet. Cool. But yeah, that's what my original army, their original color scheme was blue and red and black.
Oh, okay, so almost the opposite of what you had here.
Yeah, it was primarily blue was my original army.
Gotcha.
And that was their whole thing, was because I really wanted to fight Tyranids and I really wanted to have a lot of like auxiliaries. So I was like, I'm gonna do this. It was fun for a little while. I only got to about 1,200 points of that, and then I realized that I wanted to change my entire army.
Why?
So then I learned about Farsight Enclave.
So you read a little more into the lore.
I read more into the lore, and I read about Farsight Enclave, and they had just released a book, a codex.
Oh, okay.
For
like
Farsight.
A little supplement, right?
Yeah, for Farsight, and they had specific characters called the 8. Which, if any of you have watched Dice Jokes Battle Reports or anything like that,
he's played them.
I've played them, yeah. They're these guys right here.
Ricky killed them.
They did, yeah. They killed Deathwatch, though.
They did kill Deathwatch very hard.
Which makes sense because we're used to playing each other.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, so they're actually these guys right here. They have like these really cool battle suits, and Farsight hates the Ethereals. So he was like...
They broke away.
They broke away. Yeah, he's a renegade. He's a renegade of the Tau Empire. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. Because like the whole army was so based around Ethereals and like having these guys as, I don't know. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna steal Demeki's one right now. This is an Ethereal. And if you notice, I don't have any.
That's right.
I do not own one. Because at that point when I started learning about Farsight Enclave, I was like, great. That's one less model I gotta buy. That's one less set of rules I gotta learn. And really just the lore of Farsight Enclave is so cool. Is cool. He's really a renegade in the truest form. He learned about chaos and was like, oh my God, the Ethereals have been lying to us. Like, they've been mind controlling us. They almost killed one of his friends.
Tau have no warp presence, right?
It's very dim. They have a very dim presence.
That's right. Yeah, because wasn't this is another one of those things that we talked about on those long nights. Tau have a demon, right?
There is a demon in the warp, a demon prince, if you will, in the warp, that is a reflection of Tau. And what it is it's the human presence. It's the human knowledge and psychic energy that's created a demon.
So it wasn't even them. It was the...
No, yeah, it's not them.
It was like how Slaanesh was born from like Eldar. The Tau demon was born from humans and their idea of the Tau.
Their interpretation, of them being evil. But yeah, it plays into the whole what's coming up now with the big warp storms and the current history. They actually encountered it, and the demon saved them when they went through the Tau, because Tau don't go through the warp.
Right.
They kind of skim across it. They don't have the technology for warp. They basically travel at like almost the speed of light.
They do that like, what do you call it? The Star Wars Han Solo skip thing?
Yeah, they skip across it. But basically they created a machine, they went into the warp and got messed up. But read about it, definitely. I'm not going to go into it, I'm going to let you read about it. But yeah, Farsight Enclave, he broke away and he was very much against ethereal control. And he realized how much the Empire was lying to the people. The reason he wears red, the reason the army's red, is because of his first deployment onto the planet of...
this is where he fought orcs?
Akhanasha, yeah. He was fighting orcs, and he won.
They met what?
He won against them. But the amount of losses... I know, right?
And the orc archives I've read, he won that battle.
But he defeated the orc problem on the planet, and then the ethereals called him out and told him to leave.
Oh damn! Okay.
And so all of this death, all of this loot,
So as far
sacrifice.
as like the other septs, because there's obviously more than Farsight
Yep,
Enclave.
yep.
There's like there's the Tau Empire, which is like the big.
Tau Empire is like the Imperium of Man. It's
Gotcha.
the Tau. you know?
Yeah. They're like the poster child.
Yeah, the main home planet of Tau is called Tau.
Right.
And there is the
Very, very
Tau
creative.
Sept. Yeah, I know,
Very
right?
creative.
Yeah. They are. They're really bad about names. Farsight's full name is like
Oh, dude, it's like
Shas Ova blah blah blah. It's like this long. Like
orcs call him the Red Comet.
the Red Comet.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
never
like
heard that?
No, I haven't
With
heard
the K. Red
That's
Comet
nice.
with the K.
I
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
cool, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
You learned something new, man.
Yeah,
Very good,
yeah.
man.
No, but the Tau names are literally like this
Long.
long because it's where they come from, what their rank is, if they've done anything heroic, and then a defining act. They have translators on the web for if you want to make names.
So what are the other septs? Like, is there anything
There
special?
is, so every sept kind of has like their own little perks. The Vjorla sept is where the Fire Warriors come from. That's like where their main training grounds is. So the Fire Warriors are super tough.
Oh, that's
because they're from Vjorla and they're super like.
They get like a bunch of Fire Warrior buffs, right?
Yeah, they do. They get like I can't remember the exact rules, but basically they get a buff to their Fire Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they get like an extra shot, or like they're called hot blooded because they're like we're from here, and they get all mad. Like
That's cool.
You have like Dalith sept where they focus on weapons building.
Oh,
so
and they're
you
the
get
ones
like
that get like extra range.
yeah,
and
they
stuff
get
like
extra
that.
range.
Okay,
There's like Sakea, which they're really good in about stealth, and so their stealth suits get bonuses.
That's cool. Okay.
So it's kind of one of those things. Like each planet has like its own like
Almost like a specialty.
like a specialty,
Yeah,
like its
yeah.
own trait, and the armies like take place after that. Farsights are close combat because Farsight is the one dude. He's the way of the short sword or short blade, where he believes in actually getting into combat.
Yeah.
And Tau don't do that.
They need to make it better.
They do.
They really do.
They really do.
I've
They really
been
do.
in close combat with them, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. He's
Yeah, he's alright. He's alright.
He does stuff.
Yeah. So there are numerous different types of septs. My favorite's Farsight. Repainted my whole army for it. But you can actually still, to this day, choose any one of those that you like, and you can still make a custom one yourself.
That's pretty cool.
They have rules
I do like
specifically
that
for that. Yeah.
That they're kind of going into, they're giving you a little more.
They give you the freedom. Yeah,
a little
it's
more freedom to do that.
really nice. I really like that they embrace that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, when it comes to building your army, speaking of, obviously showcasing the army, what about like custom builds and stuff? People like conversions, people like bit smashing.
Yeah, so I don't have the most amount of like bit smashing. I have like a couple here and there that I dabbled with, but
Right.
I'd say the best ones I have are my hazard suits right here.
Yeah, I like these because they look like the other Crisis suits, and Crisis suits look sick in themselves.
Well, in Farsight lore, Farsight is cut off from a lot of the Empire, so he doesn't have access to the new technologies. They have to get smuggled to him. So my idea was that they didn't have the new plans for the hazard suits.
Right.
So they kind of re-outfitted their original ones.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah,
I really like that.
So like their jetpacks are basically smushed together into one
yeah.
big jetpack. Missile pods are converted to photon casters, and instead of having 4 burst cannons, they just have super sped up burst cannons.
That's sick. I love that.
That do double the fire rate. I love that. Yeah, so I really love them. I gave them like a narrow. I used the original Crisis suit boxes to make them. I had a saw and green stuff. And that's literally, I put them together, I chopped them up,
Yeah.
I glued them. I made the heads narrower because hazards are meant to be dropped in like where there's lots of shots.
Oh yeah, they're like
So
the shock troopers almost.
Yeah, so I gave them a narrower visor to
That's
protect
pretty
their
cool.
sensors. Yeah, so I have that. I made some custom modeling of some suits that are really hard to get.
Right.
So the chest plates for this guy right here, for the bodyguard units, which are on that side, I actually molded the beefed up bodyguard armor.
Oh, like almost like an up armor.
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
yeah. So I molded my own
Yeah.
using basically like Play-Doh and epoxy.
Dang, dude.
And I was able to kind of get my own.
But I mean, that's just one of those things. Like as you were building your army, like it's nice to kind of put your own little personal touch on
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah. The hazard
Yeah.
suits. That was my whole thing. Was I love that model so much. Well, not. I love the idea of the model. I don't particularly like the model from Forge World. So I was like, how can I make one that I really like?
Yeah, I like the way it looks and whatnot.
Yeah, and I tied it in with the story, just
I love that,
yeah,
man.
it's like
I love
so
that.
anybody watching it could be like, well, that's not what they are. It'd be like, yeah, no, well,
This
here's
is why,
my reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also I do have some printed stuff. I do have some 3D printed stuff just because I wanted to mess around with it.
Yeah. Dabble.
Yeah, a little dabble. But I actually have an orca, which
Yes.
that's
big.
Yeah, it's huge. I love that thing. I know everybody laughs and they're like, oh, it's a shoebox. Like,
It is. It
but
is a shoebox.
it's just like to me, it's like it's a drop ship.
Yeah.
You gotta have a drop ship,
That's a badass dropship too.
So I have that, and unfortunately, there's no rules for it now in 9th edition
Anymore.
But
what about
for-
APOC?
yeah, for APOC, it still exists.
Nice, hell yeah.
And for our home games, we still
Oh,
have
100%,
it.
dude.
They have all sorts of ones. That one's actually a custom orca. It actually has missiles that
Oh, that's
most
cool.
orcas don't. So it pretty much like for our home games and
Mm-hmm.
campaigns and stuff like that, I can use it. There are some stats made for 8th edition. So it when you're having fun, you're having
Pretty
fun.
sweet. Pretty sweet. I dig it, man.
But yeah, those are pretty much my
so
my conversions.
let's talk about the elephant in the room, Tom.
What is the elephant in the room?
Why aren't you based?
Oh, yeah, good question. I was gonna say, it's like, who's the elephant in the room?
I always give you shit for it. I always give you shit because you always give me shit like, oh, why aren't those like 5 Marines painted? I'm like,
Yeah.
shut up. Why aren't your bases
So yes,
based?
and what sucks
Bitch.
now is at 9th edition they actually make that a
Right?
requirement.
Yeah.
The reason why most of my stuff isn't based is because I actually prefer my bases to be black.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you were to put grass on every model
Yep.
and you're playing on this terrain, doesn't make sense.
And it's funny because I actually accept that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you were right, man. I don't
Yeah.
want to see green bases on my purple planet. Like,
Exactly.
but
Yeah, that's my whole thing. And
it breaks like almost like the immersion.
the immersion, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I got into Warhammer because one, I wanted to build some models, but two, I just love the way it looks.
Yeah, it looks
And
so cool.
if I'm I'm fighting on this one patch of grass, it doesn't like the Riptide has that.
We gotta
and
get you clear bases, man.
that's no joke. I'm about to get there.
Yeah.
That's one of
We've
the things
talked
I've been
about
looking at. Yeah, well, because all the drones have clear bases.
Yeah, and it works.
And it works, and I like that. And I was like, damn, but that's why most of my stuff is based black, is because to me, it shows you the model, you have the base for your reference of sizing and maneuvering,
Right, measuring and whatnot.
but black blends into whatever map you're on.
Yeah, black goes with everything, right?
Yeah. Most ground bases, the mats are a
We
dark
dressed the
color.
same today?
No, I'm wearing my miniature one.
We're dressed the same way.
Very similar. But most of the mats that you fight on are relatively dark in color, so black works.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I
yeah,
100% agree.
F everybody else because they give me shit for it too. But you know what? I have my reasons.
I accept that reason. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it. It's like, nah, I don't really
I
like the way
prefer
looks.
it. No, I
Yeah.
legitimately prefer it that
So
way.
I accept that.
Yeah, a clear basis is a good idea though.
So yeah, are you working on anything currently? I mean,
so
you
yeah.
got plenty.
So I am currently right now. Yeah, the fact that this isn't everything. I am currently right now painting an Arvarna and another commander, just because in 9th edition you need all the help you can get.
Yeah, no kidding. right?
So I am building an Arvarna and another commander, but that's about it. I've had some talk about getting a Taunar, one of the big suits.
Yeah, I think so.
But I am currently still building a second army right now for the other channel, or for this channel. So I'm waiting, and I'm also waiting until 9th edition until we get our codex.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any. I love Tau. They're my favorite army. I don't want to make any decisions until we get a new codex.
Yeah, and that's usually the smart play. You want to see where everything kind of shifts, and it's like, well, I don't want to use this unit that's just going to get blown away. So
Not
maybe
even
I'll
necessarily
lean
that,
this
but
way.
there might be some new stuff coming out.
That
maybe
too.
I want to spend some money on that I
That
might not
too.
have.
That too, man.
That's my big one. I'm like, woohoo.
So yeah,
Were we going to talk about some of the feel bads right now?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to leave it more to just being like your showcase. But
Yeah.
if you want to talk about some of the field battles,
Right now in 9th edition, Tau are fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get a lot of guff from people saying that they're not a great army.
Yeah, because they used to be the
They
baddie.
used to be one of the
I
best.
think
yeah.
7th edition, it was like, oh, you play Tau? I don't
Yeah.
want to play you, man.
Yeah, yeah. So
I played in that edition, and I was like, oh, Tau.
yeah.
This is gonna be rough.
No, I murdered a lot of people in that time. But yeah, you know, you're gonna hear people saying like maybe right now that they're not the best, you know, but honestly, their lore is great, and I hope that from watching this, you guys can appreciate them a little bit more, and can really kind of see like, you know what, like they may not need to be the best meta armies, but you could still have fun with them. You know, like
I agree.
I mean, you know, me and Mark play them. Like I said, there's orcas, I have tiger sharks, like I have things that aren't necessarily the most popular, but I just love them. I think they're cool, and I think
play what you love, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, play what you love, and because you have fun with it. You know, so I hope watching this, you guys have a new appreciation for Tau. And
I know I don't.
Yeah, right. And maybe there'll be some new Tau players out there, or you know what? I'm always down for more people to fight. So
That's true, man. That's true. So yeah, again, if you guys like this, let us know. And maybe we can get like Matt on here with his Tyranids. I know he was like, "Oh man, I want to talk about my Tyranids." So
yeah.
maybe if you guys like this, we won't get canceled, and Matt will talk about his Tyranids.
yeah. Whole goal right now for the first few episodes is not to get canceled.
Yeah, that's the goal right now. That was our top objective when we were writing everything for Hobby Talk. If you guys like this, you know, let us know in the comments below. If you guys want to see some more showcases from the other guys, this is just something that we wanted to put together. If you have any other questions for Tom, maybe you can ask him in the comments and he'll hook you up.
Yeah, we on Hobby Talk here specifically, we really want to respond to comments.
Yeah.
So absolutely leave them because we will read them. If we don't respond in the next video, we will try to
call
get
me a
to them.
shitface. I dig it.
I mean, he does. I do it all the time.
We know we rant a lot, so if you guys don't like that, again, let us know because we talk a lot.
Yeah, that was really the whole point of the show was just so we could like talk.
They're like Matt's like, these guys need an outlet because I don't want to hear it from
Yeah, I'm so tired of listening to them. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This has been our second episode of Hobby Talk. Please like, comment, subscribe to Dice Check, and we'll bring you some more.
Yeah, next time on Dragon Ball Z.